Most of us start our lives in a hospital as newborn babies, but not me. No siree. I started my life in a hospital too, yes, but as an adult. I opened my eyes feeling woozy and numb. I felt like I'd been struck by a freight train. She's up. She's finally up. Nurses and doctors surrounded me from all sides, examining me excitedly. What's going on? Can you tell us who you are? I'm me. Who else am I supposed to be? The Queen of England? Your name. What's your name? I racked my brain trying to remember, but I just couldn't. In fact, I couldn't remember anything. It was like my brain was filled with dust bunnies. What was my name? Hi, I'm Harper. Yeah, I know my name now. And I woke up in a hospital bed one day with no clue who I am. But before I continue my crazy story, please like and subscribe. There was nothing wrong with me, except, my amnesia. The doctor told me my name, that I was 18 years old, and apparently, I'd been unconscious since an accident I'd had 2 weeks ago. But what she said next turned my world upside down. Both of your parents are in jail. My jaw dropped to the floor. I was the daughter of some criminals? Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, the doctors decided to kick me out. Release me from the hospital. No other friends or family came forward, so you'll have to manage on your own. How on earth am I supposed to do that? I barely know my own name. You're physically and mentally fine, and you'll start to regain your memory over time. Here are your belongings, and I've called you a cab to your home address. And that's where we'll be sending you the bill too. Now goodbye. And then she practically pushed me out the door. Just wow. I hoped I wasn't some kind of weird loser or a creepy pariah. Seriously, what kind of person has no friends or family to show up for them? Forget going home. I needed to find my parents, whatever their names were. They'd give me the answers I needed. I turned my attention to my so-called belongings, which consisted of a purse. I rummaged inside, hoping something would spark a memory, but it just felt like I was going through someone else's stuff. I found a phone, wallet, keys, and a chocolate bar. Yum. I turned on the phone, but it needed a passcode to unlock it. I typed a few different combinations, but none of them worked. And then my phone locked me out for guessing wrong too many times. Just then, a black Mercedes screeched to a stop right in front of me. A really cute boy a little older than me poked his head out the window, staring at me in shock. Harper, oh my gosh, are you okay? I've been searching for you everywhere. Who are you? I have amnesia. He jumped out of the car and ran to me. Really? So you don't remember anything? No, duh, that's how amnesia works. This guy was a pretty package, but he wasn't too smart. I'm Mason, your neighbor, and, well, your friend. My friend? Mason pulled out his phone and showed me a photo of the two of us together smiling. We looked good together. Have you spoken to your parents? Not yet. My stupid phone's locked, and I can't remember the password. Mason put his hand on my shoulder. Don't worry about it. I'm here now. Just then, I heard heavenly music play as the skies opened up and a bright light shined down on my head, and then butterflies danced around me. I wasn't a weirdo. I had a friend. Plus, he was a cutie, and he smelled amazing. Mason offered to drive me home. I'd like to see my parents first, but I don't know what jail they're in. Don't worry, I'll find out and arrange a visit. Just then, my stomach let out a loud growl. But first, let's get you some pizza. We can grab a slice down the corner. A slice? I haven't eaten in 2 weeks, man! Mason laughed and bought me an extra-large pizza before taking me home. 20 minutes later, we pulled up to a luxurious apartment building. Wow, is this where I live? Yep, this is where we both live. I live 1 floor below you. Mason was the perfect gentleman. He helped me out of the car, opened every door for me, and generously tipped the doorman. As we rode the elevator to the penthouse floor, Mason's hand brushed against mine, and my heart skipped a beat. Mason said we were just friends, but it felt like we were so much more. I thought to ask him, but I was too shy. What if he didn't like me that way and was just being nice? I didn't want to scare him off, so I stayed quiet. My apartment was huge and so fancy inside, with expensive furniture, exquisite paintings, and crystal chandeliers. A family portrait hung on a wall with a gold-plated frame, and I paused in front of it. My parents looked like really nice people. Mason, what are my parents' names, and why are they in jail? Suddenly, he looked really uncomfortable. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison did some illegal stuff, but I don't know the details. I'm sorry. Then Mason told me he had to go, and I was all alone in my so-called home. I roamed around, touching and smelling things, trying to get my memory back, but nothing worked. I tried to open my phone again, but I still couldn't unlock it. I started to get tired, so I tossed it on my dresser and went to bed. The next day, Mason showed up at my doorstep looking all swoon-worthy, with his dark eyes and his movie star hair. "I've got something for you." He showed me a perfectly wrapped gift. I tore off the paper and found a new phone inside. "I know you can't unlock yours, so I got you a new one. Also, I have my best people trying to find out exactly where your parents are. We'll find them soon." I threw my arms around him, absolutely smitten. Later that day, I tried looking up my parents online on my new phone, but nothing about them popped up. I'd just have to wait for my visit. But thank God I had Mason, and we started hanging out every day. At my place, at his place, fancy restaurants, and museums. One day, we were walking in the park, and we saw a bunch of kids running up to an ice cream truck. But one boy was standing on the side with a sad face. "Hey kid, what's the matter?" "I can't afford to get any ice cream." "Well, how about I buy you a banana split? Or maybe 2 scoops of cookies and cream?" A couple of kids appeared out of nowhere. They didn't have any money for ice cream either. I gave each of them a $100 bill, and they all ran cheering and screaming to the ice cream truck. I turned around to see Mason looking at me with a huge smile. "What? Did a bird poop in my hair? I hate when that happens." "No, I just think you're wonderful." Then he pulled me into his arms, and my face was inches away from his. "Mason, were you and I ever more than friends?" "No, but I wanted us to be. We can be now." And then he gave me the most amazing kiss, and I practically melted in his arms. A couple days later, Mason took me to the aquarium, but as I saw all these kids with their parents, I felt kinda sad. "Hey, are you still thinking about your parents?" "Yeah, I still don't remember them. Not exactly, but I want to see them and talk to them. Maybe if I do, my memories will come back." Mason sighed and then took my hand in his. "Listen, Harper, we've managed to find them, and I can arrange a visit very soon. But before that, there's something you need to know. I should have told you this earlier, but..." Before Mason could finish, this girl ran up to us screaming excitedly. "OMG, Harper! Is that you?" "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't remember you." Mason tried to hide behind me. "And Mason?" Hi, Jackie." "I knew it, I knew it!" "Knew what?" "Oh, Harp, you're so hilarious! I'm your friend, and I knew you always had a crush on Mason before you started hating his guts. How'd you ever patch things up?" Mason turned as red as a cherry popsicle. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "You called him Mason the Maniac, and you wanted to crush him for ruining your life. You spray painted his house, scratched his car with your keys, threw a brick through his window, and created a website that listed 1,000 reasons why he shouldn't be trusted." "What? That's crazy. Why would I do something like that?" "Yeah, you went a little psycho. But Mason did write that article which got your parents arrested." "Are you insane? Mason would never do that to me. Tell her, Mason." "Mason?" Mason lowered his eyes. "Harper, I can explain." "It's okay, Mason. I can show her myself." Jackie pulled out her phone and showed me a news article with a headline that read, "Whiz Kid journalist puts criminal couple behind bars." The Whiz Kid was Mason, and the couple were my parents, and their names were Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Right beneath my parents' photo, there was a link to a video. With trembling hands, I clicked the link. It showed the police hauling my parents out of our apartment building, while a dozen reporters were taking pictures and firing questions. And Mason was right there in the front, with a smirk on his face. "We're innocent. We didn't do this. That sneaky kid Mason is out to get us." Then suddenly, I came running out of the building and tackled Mason to the ground. We crashed into the reporters, then the video ended. "It's not what it looks like." Yes, it is." I just couldn't believe it. Suddenly, I got so mad my hands started shaking. I slapped Mason really hard across the face, then stormed off. I took a taxi straight home and spent the rest of the night crying into my pillow. Mason called me a dozen times, but I refused to answer. He even came to my door with flowers, but I ignored him. I looked my parents up online. I found Mason's article and read all about my parents' crimes. Mason accused them of stealing from tons of banks, museums, and even a children's hospital. But my parents claimed they were innocent, and Mason was a liar. He'd lied to me about being my friend too. No wonder I hated his guts. One night, when I was watching love stories on MSA, "No, don't trust him. He's hot, but he's a bad, bad guy." And stuffing my face with ice cream and cookies, I got a call from the apartment building's reception desk. "Ma'am, there's a call for you from your mother. I'm putting you through." I shot up straight as an arrow. My mom was calling me from prison? Oh, Harper, how are you? We heard you were in the hospital after the accident, and then you were released. I wasn't allowed to make calls any sooner, and I tried your cell phone first. Oh, I've been so worried, love. Mom, where are you? Can I come see you? I was able to schedule a visit to prison for the next day. I met my mom in this big room surrounded by other inmates and their visiting families. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Your dad wanted to see you too, but he got into a fight with an inmate and isn't allowed visitors for a week. I've missed you so much, baby. Suddenly, I just broke down in tears. Mom, I'm so confused. I lost all my memories in the accident. What? You don't remember anything? No, nothing. I just know that you're in jail because Mason said you guys did all these awful things. Mason? Oh, what I wouldn't do to wring that boy's neck. We wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for him. He's evil, Harper. You can't trust a word he says. I'll explain everything later, but first, you need to listen to me closely. Mom leaned in and whispered, "Get the money out of the safe." What safe? It's in a secret room behind my closet. Your dad and I stored things for the family business there. We didn't tell you about it because you were too young. I need you to use the money we've kept in that room to bail us out. The combination is in a drawer in my desk, and be careful. We had a misunderstanding with a few gangsters. Gangsters? Oh, I mean business associates, sweetie. Somehow they think we owe them money. Vultures. So if anyone suspicious turns up at the apartment, do not let them in. Mom gestured over my shoulder, and I turned and saw this scary man with a skull tattooed on his forehead, giving us death glares. Once I got home, I raced to my parents' room, found the combination, and typed it into the keypad on the back of Mom's closet. Then a wall opened up, and I walked into the secret room, my mouth hanging open. It was full of bags of money, jewels, and paintings. All the stolen items that Mason wrote about in his articles were stacked right in front of me. I was devastated. Mason was right. My parents were thieves. Just then, the doorbell rang, and a surveillance feed popped up on a screen in my parents' room. 3 scary gangsters with skulls on their forehead were at my front door.
We know you're in there, Harper. We want our money.
I spoke through the speakers. Sorry, Harper's not home. She's moved to the moon. The gangsters got really angry and kicked down the main door. I locked my parents' bedroom door, and feeling completely freaked out, I called Mason. Mason answered on the first ring.
What's wrong?
You were right. My parents are bad, and now these gangsters are out to get me. What should I do? Mason told me to run to the window. I peeked down and saw him waving at me from the window below. He told me to climb down. Are you crazy? What do I look like, Spider-Man?
You used to climb down all the time when we were kids.
Well, I don't remember that. Suddenly, I heard the gangsters pounding on my parents' door. Okay, maybe some memories are coming back.
Come on, you can do it. I've got you.
Somehow, Mason's words gave me confidence, so I took a deep breath, then started climbing down. Suddenly, I lost my grip and screamed as I fell, but Mason caught me just in time. He pulled me inside through his window and hugged me.
You're okay, Harper. You're safe now.
Okay, cool. This is really nice. You always smell so comforting, like fresh laundry.
I still have to call the police. You mind letting me go?
We reported the gangsters to the police, and they were arrested and hauled off to jail. After that, Mason walked me back to my apartment. When we got to my door, tears started streaming down my face. Mason, was I a bad person, like my parents?
No, you didn't even know they were criminals. Your parents lied to everyone about their business for years.
But I did all those horrible things to you. Why did you even go to the hospital to find me?
Because it was my fault you got hurt.
Mason's words shook me to my core.
The day you had the accident, I tried to talk to you about your parents and make you see the truth, but you got so mad you got into your car and drove off. The next day, the police found your abandoned car stuck in a ditch and they said you were missing.
Mason showed me a picture of my car in the ditch. Then a memory popped into my head. I think I remember now. It was raining. I was driving really fast and I lost control. I remember crawling out of the car to find help, but after that, everything is a blur.
Harper, not knowing what happened to you or where you'd gone was breaking my heart. Then I found you at the hospital and you were different. You didn't remember anything. And most importantly, you didn't hate me. I should have told you the truth sooner, but it was getting harder the more I was falling in love with you.
You're in love with me?
I've always had a thing for you. I'm sorry I lied. I understand if you never want to see me again. I love you, Harper, but I don't want to come between you and your family.
He started walking away, and suddenly my phone rang. It was the number from prison. It must be my mom calling. As I watched him leave, my heart ached. I had to choose. I could bail out my family, help them clear their names, and go back to their criminal activities. Or I could take a chance on a different life. I shoved my cell phone into my pocket, ran to Mason, and grabbed his hand. Let's go and tell the police about the proof I found in the secret room. I choose to be a good person. I choose to be happy. I choose you.